Hey everyone, and welcome to my presentation about redefining cloud native debugging, or as I would like to say, never wait for your next deployment ever again. My name is Noah Goldman. I'm a product manager here at Rookout. My favorite thing in the world would be to make products simple and easy to use. This is what I'm doing in my day-to-day. I love it. It's a great job. And let's get it started with. Okay, so before we speak about the challenges in cloud debugging or how to solve them, let's speak about why cloud is so much fun. Now, cloud is a major thing and people use it a lot lately, and it becomes a major thing in our life. And there are a lot of reasons for why cloud is so much fun. So the first reason is that it's flexible and it's scalable, right? So if you have a higher users traffic that you want to deal with, or maybe you need to process a big batch of data, it's easy to scale up and scale down your servers when it comes to cloud architecture. Another reason why cloud is so much fun is that it's reliable. You still can see your data even when your servers are down, which is a major upside to cloud architecture. Some more reasons is that it saves money, it reduces costs, and basically your IT team can do other stuff other than just maintaining your servers. Cloud architecture has a huge advantage with its disaster recovery plans. And security-wise, it's great because it has automatic mandatory updates and it has data security monitoring. And for all those reasons, this is the reason why cloud architecture is so much fun and we love it and we want to use it more and more often. So cloud is great and it's a big thing these days, but it's going to be that much bigger deal in the future. And this is why we want to learn how to adapt to it, how to avoid its obstacles, and how to overcome the challenges. So let's see some statistics regarding cloud architecture adoption. So by 2024, production-grade cloud-native apps will expand to 70% from 10% of all apps in 2020. So basically, that means that cloud is already a big thing, but it's going to be that much bigger in the future. People will use it more and more. And this is why we definitely want to learn how to adapt to it and how to avoid the obstacle that it brings. And this is why we're here. So the challenges when it comes to evolving to cloud architecture are major. There are a lot of challenges involved. Challenges can be compliance requirements. Maybe we're speaking about design modifications. Downtime can occur here and there. And basically just lack of expertise, right? Sometimes we just need to learn how to use cloud architecture. It's relatively new. We're not always know how to configure it, and it can take time and effort. So there are a lot of challenges when it comes to cloud architecture, but I'm here to speak about the big challenge, which is debugging cloud architecture applications. And this is why we're here. We will deep dive into how we debug our applications today, and we will speak about the challenges that cloud architectures brings when it comes to debugging your cloud applications. And we will see some solutions that we can adopt in order to overcome those challenges. So let's deep dive into debugging in this day and age. Of course, all of you know how to debug. You use different methods of debugging. Some of you might use your command line debugging. Others can use local debugging or maybe logging and tracing. Some of you might use remote debugging. And some of you, I hope not a lot of people, will deploy to production blindly and hope everything will be right. So those are all possible solutions that we have in this day and age when it comes to debugging our applications, right? Let's speak about each of those solutions and see why it's not that great. So command line debugging, it's great, but it has a limited amount of commands. Another disadvantage is that the output is not always clear, right? You get a big batch of data and lines and it's not always clear what you need to use. It can be complicated to use. You don't have a nice GUI to use and no buttons. And also it almost always requires some more investigation. It's not that the solution for the bug is here in front of you. You almost always have to reinvestigate and make sure you get to the root cause. So this was command line debugging. Local debugging, it's also great, but it has a problem when it comes to reproducing your production configurations, right? And when I'm speaking about production configurations, I'm speaking about reproducing your maybe operation systems, some code version, dependencies, or just network configurations and conditions. Another thing that it's really hard to reproduce when it comes to your local debugger is the actual application state. So you need to reproduce your customer's data, which is not always possible when you're debugging locally. And also you have to reproduce the actual customer's flow in your application, which again, it's not that easy. And for all of those reasons, reproducing production bugs, it's harder when it comes to local debugging. Okay, ימשיך ונגזור את זה כאן. So another possible solution that you might use these days will be logging and tracing, which is still great, but it has a few issues as well. It can be time consuming. You not always can predict where your bugs are, right? You don't always know where they will be. And this is why you don't always put your log line in the right place. And also you're not always logging every line, right? So some of their code might not be logged out. And this is why some of the logging will be missing when it comes to trying to solve a bug. In terms of performance and storage costs, it increases the cost, which is again a major disadvantage. And you always have to keep maintaining your logs. You always have to make sure you delete some of the irrelevant logs and use new logs. And again, it's all about maintenance, which can take you a lot of time. Remote debugging, it's another solution that we have in this day and age, which is, again, great, but it's not that great because security-wise, anyone can stop and start the application. You need to know your servers intimately, which means you have to know which servers you want to attach your process to, which is impossible in the cloud because you have many servers. Security-wise, it's not that recommended because you have a port that is left open to accept incoming connections from the client side, which is, again, not that recommended when it comes to security. And final solution we have in this day and age will be deploy to production blindly. Well, good luck with that. I hope you will enjoy fixing your bugs this way. I will not recommend it, but go ahead, do your thing. So we spoke about the solution we have in this day and age when it comes to debugging your application. But cloud architecture brings a lot of different challenges as well when it comes to debugging. Some of them can be giving up your control, right? Someone else is now responsible for your servers. Another issue might be that there are high complexity architecture. We often use multiple microservices. Which communicate to each other, and it's hard to get the holistic view of the app when it comes to this architecture. Also, recreating the application state, again, another challenge that it's not that easy to deal with. The dynamic environment changes when it comes to cloud architecture brings up some challenges as well. Your instances are deployed and turned down dynamically, and there's no app or process we can actually attach to in the traditional debugging way. And also, you don't always have the right access. And all of those together are many of the challenges that cloud architectures bring to our world when it comes to debugging your application. Now, before we do a little deep dive into the solutions, I just want you to take a moment and think about the situation where you're managing a team of developers, or maybe you are a developer. You're chilling, everything is so nice. You're continuing developing new feature, the application is running in production, everything is well, you're happy and relaxed, and you enjoy your job. And then one day, a customer will knock on your door and he will say, hey, I have a huge major bug that I need you to fix right away. And all of a sudden, all of the relaxing and the chilling is now gone, and you're super stressed, and you have to make sure this customer's bug will be fixed as quick as possible, and in the best way possible. And all of a sudden you moved from being the happy developers team that you are to just being stressed out, having to fix these issues. I know it's not fun, and we all experienced it in our career, probably once or twice. And when you will evolve to cloud architecture, those moments can be even harder and even more challenging. And I'm here to give you the right solution to make sure those moments will be as short as possible and you will get to the solution as quick as you can. So let's do a deep dive into the solution we can think of. So one great solution will be APM tools. Now, APM tools are application performance management or monitoring. They collect metrics data and tells you what's going on within the application. So when I'm speaking about metrics data, it can be anything. It can be transactions, analytics, availability, log scraping, which are all presented in a beautiful dashboards and nice graphs. APM tools can be tools such as New Relic, AppDynamics, or Dynatrace. APM tools are a great solution when it comes to debugging your cloud architecture applications, but they have some major disadvantage. So first of all, the low fidelity data. So data is collected in low fidelity. So while the solution can be relayed on to alert you that something is wrong, they provide little directions as to just what that something is and how you can fix it. It has a significant learning curve, right? Like every tool, you have to learn how to use it, how to configure it. It can take time. And also require multiple tools. So since each tool only focuses on one aspect of production, that requires multiple solutions to monitor various aspects of the application. So it's not just one tool that you need. You will need a few tools to make sure you have everything configured right. Another disadvantage is that it consumes more resources and drive up costs. You have to install new tools, configure them. It takes time to make sure you learn them and you know how to use them. So this was APM tools and the right solutions. Another solution is exception catching, which are tools that can help you detect some wrong flows in your application or bugs that you might have and you didn't catch. It's another tool, but it has some disadvantage. One of the disadvantages is that bugs often do not come from exception, right? Sometimes we have issues with our code that comes from wrong flow or something wrong that the developer did, or maybe some misunderstanding. Another disadvantage is that it can act differently in various environments. It's not always catching the same exception. And also not all data is available, right? It almost always requires deeper investigation. So it's not that you will use their exception catching tool and you will be able to fix the bug. You almost always have to further investigate to make sure you get to the root cause. Now my final solution and my most recommended one will be live debuggers. Live debuggers great because they can create the original state of the application. So if we spoke before about reproducing your application state or your user flow from production into your local machine, now you don't have to do this because you're basically debugging production. The code behaves exactly as it does in production, right? Because you're debugging your actual production code. So you don't have to reproduce the state. You don't have to reproduce anything. You're just debugging your production. Reproducing bug will be super fast because again, everything you have in production is right there. You don't have to reproduce anything. So the bugs that you actually have are already available to you right away. The data is in high fidelity and it's wherever your code is running, and even in the cloud, even if you're debugging your cloud application, you have all the data you need. You don't have to further investigate. Everything you need to know about the bug will be there available for you at all times. It absolutely has no performance impact at all, which means it will not affect your application runtime whatsoever. It will run exactly the same and it will have no performance impact, which is a very important advantage when it comes to live debuggers. And the coolest thing when we have in live debuggers are the non-breaking breakpoints. So in this day and age, when you're debugging, you place a breakpoint, your application will stop. You have to wait, see the data, and then let it continue running. But in live debuggers, we have our non-breaking breakpoints, which means you can place a breakpoint in your code, but your application will not stop running. Everything will run smoothly with no performance effect, and you will still be able to see high fidelity data when you're debugging and trying to fix a bug. And this is why my best solution for you guys when it comes to cloud architecture application debugging will be live debuggers because of all those reasons. In my opinion, this tool will actually help you solve bugs as fast as you can, and it will help you get your team back together and to be relaxed and chilled again and not be so stressed out when it comes to customers knocking on your door and tell you you have to fix a bug right away. Yeah, so this was my presentation about how to debug your cloud architecture applications. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to contact me here at Rookout. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.